Would
Yeah.
you touch just a bit on customer service? Just, I know when you first started, you mentioned about, there's nothing worse than going to a website or whatever, and it's not updated, and, you know, this, that, and the other. But pertaining to customer service, and whether it's product or service or whatever, because as an older consumer these days, I find that that is really lacking in quite a number of things.
Well, I'll share this very small snippet, and maybe that'll help. Because I mean, I could go on another hour about customer service, and I'm sure all of you could too. As I said, I worked in newspapers and magazines for the majority of my career. I thought I was actually going to work in journalism forever. But I worked at a daily newspaper, I freelanced, I worked at a regional magazine, and I loved working with other writers and editors and creatives and photographers. What I didn't love was, at least among some of my colleagues, there was this mentality of we are better than our audience. We are better than the reader. Like, why should we bother to answer the phone? Why should we bother to respond to emails? Why do we care if we didn't throw their paper in their yard that day? I mean, because it's a 25-cent paper. How can you care about that? And my attitude in every newsroom was, these are the people who pay our salaries. These are the people who read our stuff. This is the public that we are trying to engage and inform. And if you hold them in contempt, they pick up on that. Like, they hear it in the tone of your voice, or how you respond to them, or not respond to them. And I'm like, we're talking about the difference of 30 seconds of your day. And so my attitude in every time a customer would get through to me, even if it's not my department, like in the newspaper I worked at, you know, we got a lot of calls for circulation. One of the phone numbers in our department was 1 digit off of the main circulation number. So we got our fair share of circulation calls. And people could not get their paper delivered on time, or they couldn't get stopped for vacation, or, you know, they're trying to just unsubscribe, or just regular stuff. You know, this is before the web, this is when we had the website, and my goal was, if I got that call, I'd keep them on the line until I got a human being in circulation who I knew would take care of them, because there were plenty of people in circulation who were so-so. And if I couldn't, I'd get their name, I'd get their phone number, I'd walk it down circulation, and I'd make a note to myself to call circulation back the next day and say, have you taken care of Ms. Smith? And then I'd call Ms. Smith back and say, did you get a call from Joe in circulation, and did he take care of you? And if not, we'd start over again. And it was a challenge to get some of my colleagues to understand that that is part of your job. Like, your job is not to just sit at the desk or go chase police cars or to get things in on deadline. I mean, your job is also to help our readers, because they are the lifeblood of what we do. And that was good for me because it's carried over into Y'all Connect, and it's carried over into other things. And so I like sweat the details that most people just don't even think about. And it's not vanity, it's just, I think it's just the way I'm wired, which is good and bad. But, you know, even if we get good marks on customer service, I always think we can do better. And sometimes that just drives volunteers nuts. It drives the speakers nuts. But the speakers also understand, it's like, I send the speakers a copy of the feedback. It's like, here are all the scores that everyone went to your session gave you, and here are all the positive comments, here are all the negative comments. And you can do with it what you want. The smart speakers, they learn to improve because they'll see a pattern. You know, the person's not making eye contact the whole time, and they don't know what to do with their hands. These are easily fixable things. I don't know of any other conference that actually gives speakers concrete feedback so that they can be better at their craft. There's actually one other conference that's asked me to help them with that, and I'm more than happy to do it just because I think it's valuable for the event and I think it's valuable for the speaker. But ultimately, it's valuable for the people who are paying for the tickets to go. So that's my history with customer service. I wish it were more infectious, and I hope that it I hope that it ultimately serves who we're trying to reach.